What's up all you cool cats and kittens? I am going to draw Joe Exotic in 9 different art styles. Let's go. Style 1, Spongebob close-up. This was one of the top comments when I asked people for styles. We all know the style, we've all seen it. I'll start out with a portrait of Joe just to make sure all his features are in the right place. Give him the goatee, the mullet, the eyebrow ring hanging on for its dear life. And then I'll start warping the features, add in droops everywhere, dehydrated eyelids, wrinkles where there shouldn't be, pull his skin down, make it drip, make his veins pop, add some shadows with the red and then later with the grey. Colour his shirt pink like his wedding, his mullet a nice pastel yellow, then come in strong with the shadows. Ah, God, look at that. Isn't this just a metaphor for 2020? Starting to place this disgusting and just hoping things don't get worse. 8 more styles, 8 more months. There's a lot of potential. Let's see where things take us. Style 2. Bill Watterson. You'd know Bill Watterson as being the creator of Calvin and Hobbes. I'll stick Hobbes in there because Tiger King, get it? And I'll draw Joe. I don't want to draw him like he's Calvin. I want to draw him in the style of Bill Watterson, which means little black balls for eyes. The hairlines shouldn't really connect as they don't in his comics. And then one thing that I love about Bill Watterson is his lines kind of double up and look a bit expressive. They get thicker in certain areas and thinner in others. Color him in his blue print shirt. Maybe now people start to believe me when I try to tell them that Calvin, with his blonde hair, individuality and love for tigers, actually grew up to become Joe Exotic. Think about it. You ever seen him in the same room? The Matrix. Style 3, Tom Bunk. Tom Bunk is the illustrator behind Garbage Pail Kids and he also illustrated for Mad magazine. His style is one of my favourite styles. I'll make Joe's face a little bit longer with that gross nose. Once again, just like the SpongeBob picture, I'll emphasise the wrinkles. Tom Bunk would always make anatomy as gross as possible. He'd have veins coming out, holes everywhere. He'd put bones coming out where bones shouldn't be coming out. So I'll do a bit of that. I'll make the right arm just a tree branch and the left arm like a blood splatter type thing. Put a dart in the shoe, a couple of nails in the leg, a few more piercings on the knee. I'll make the shirt plaid, how do you say that word? Pink speed dealers up the top, bleach blonde mullet. Well, yee-haw. I know it looks gross, but I think this is what we got to channel to get over our isolation blues. Just a bit of hillbilly energy, you know, just a big night where you drink a whole bunch of moonshine, shoot your gun at the ceiling and top it off by marrying your cousin. Style 4, traditional tattoo. I'll start with his mugshot because I think that's the funniest place to start, and I'll simplify all his features. So his wrinkles will just be straight lines, his hair will just be straight curls. I'll put his mullet cascading in waves down the bottom and give him a rope ring around the edge to frame him. Maybe some flowers and leaves down the bottom. Color-wise, I'll leave a lot of space in the skin. Just add shadows, chuck in highlights on the curves of his mullet, big red background, bit of shading around the rope ring. That's kind of cool. There was a girl in the comment section when I was asking for styles of what styles I should draw Joe Exotic in who said traditional tattoo, and I said, if I draw it, will you get it? And Claire, you said yes, so this one's on you. You'll move. And if anybody else wants this as a tattoo, you absolutely have my permission. Just make sure you send me the pic when it's done. I love seeing them. Style 5, medieval manuscript. This comment came up a lot on every platform. Either this or stained glass windows or something to that effect. I'll draw the straight lines without using a ruler. The straight lines in all these manuscripts are usually a bit wonky. I'll draw Joe as a saint. As for the tiger, I'm going to draw him a bit warped because exotic animals in medieval manuscripts, the artists who drew them would usually only be drawing them off a description of the exotic animal because obviously you can't take photos and the memory of the person who's actually seen it can be unreliable. So you'd often end up with things like this. This is an elephant drawn by somebody who's never seen an elephant but only had an elephant described to them. So that's what I'm going to try channel for the tiger. Color-wise, markers are going to be too heavy and I want it to look washed out like it's seen a lot of years. So I'm going to use pencil. Lots of bright colors, weird little designs around the edge, all a bit inaccurate, a bit bubbly. Chuck in the old English letters, TK, big old mullet. History, eh? Who could forget the tale of the Saint of Oklahoma and his loyal but permanently uncertain cat, Steve. Style 6, Quentin Blake. You'll remember Quentin Blake's work from the Roald Dahl books. Everybody's quite expressive with their limbs, so I'll give Joe Broadway hands. The tiger I'm gonna make look a bit like a house cat because I think that's funny. Then I'll use watercolors to paint it, so I get that blotchy blending of color. Just like Quentin Blake, I'm not gonna be too careful about where the color goes. The more childlike, the better. Make sure it doesn't look like I've painted completely within the lines. Once that's dry, I'll go over it with ink. Similar to Bill Watterson, there's a few doubled up lines, but with slightly more childlike expression to them. Rogue hairs sticking off the tiger. Nice happy smile for Joe. Isn't that super cute? I love this. It's not BFG cute or Matilda cute, but it's as cute as Joe's gonna get, so soak it up. Look at him. Style 7, Exotic Cancer. This is Exotic Cancer's work. I adore it. And I also like that both Joe Exotic and Exotic Cancer have the word exotic in them. Maybe you could drink every time I say exotic. Or if you're not so much into alcohol, you could replace it with water. It could be a hydration game. I'll keep the folds in his clothes quite clean. Keep his face with very clean lines as well. Put in those little cheeks that she'd use. Very detailed hands. That's something that I love about Exotic Cancer's work. Give him his pink wedding shirt. Her characters usually have non-traditional skin tones, so I'm gonna give him pale green skin. I'll keep his mullet yellow, but it's not quite done. You'll notice that Exotic Cancer's work usually has a pastel background. So to get that, I'm gonna need my phone. Take a quick photo, get it onto my laptop. Reset the white balance so my colors are correct. Select all the blacks so they look like pure black to give it that digital look. And then I'll fill the background with a nice pastel seafoam green. And while I'm here, I may as well just digitize the rest of him. Oh golly, that color palette is telling me yes, but that facial expression is telling me hell no. Somehow this one came out creepier than the Spongebob. I don't know how it did, but hell, here we are. Style 8, Edward Gorey. You probably know Edward Gorey's work. This is it, very detailed, kind of gothic looking. His characters have small, wide heads, so I'll do that. I'll try to get the strong bridge of Joe's nose in there too. They usually have very detailed clothing. I want a bit of whimsy in his shoes, because Edward Gorey had a little bit of that fantastical element to him, which I liked. So I'll curl up the toes, and I might do the same in the hands, because he'd usually have quite long hands on his characters, just creepy elements. Then I'll come in with an ultra fine liner and do the detail in his hair and mustache. But I'll leave the skin blank, which is another one of Gorey's traits. He wouldn't use much color, but occasionally he'd use one color very sparingly. So if I had to pick, I'll go with his yellow mullet. Good God, this drawing has serious attitude. This is one sassy Joe. This would be like if Joe Exotic and the guy from Narcos had a baby in 18th century Transylvania, and then one day that baby grew up and grew a mullet, and then I said something that offended that baby while he was mid-cigarette. That's exactly the look that I would be getting. Style 9, adult coloring book. This was the top comment on Instagram, specifically the way it was written is, draw Mr. Exotic in the style of those adult coloring books that white women aged 37 to 52 enjoy. All right, why not? Why not? Huh? You like that, Debbie? Well, you're gonna love this. So I'll chuck Joe in there, and then I want some kind of inspirational but empty message written around him. I feel like that's a big hallmark of this genre. Something like Live, Laugh, Love, but a little bit less popular. I'm gonna write Dare to Dream, and I'll double use that D so it can become my top left border. I'll chuck another border around that, lots of leaves coming out of the top, and then I'll start filling in paisley and flowers in the background. I'll separate the bottom to make a frame. Font-wise, I'm gonna write in bamboo. I'll chuck the tail in the top right, keep it semi-jungle themed. I'll go over Joe in a double outline so he pops out, and then I'll just start adding in more details, little teardrops, little circles, little spirals. Ah dear, eat your heart out. I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy with what you've done, what you've made. Anyway, if for some reason you do want to color this in, I will leave this as a free download on my website, struthless.com. You can get it there, make sure you tag me in it. I'd love to see what you do with the colors. God, I never thought I'd ever make an adult coloring page, but heck, I never thought 2020 would have us all indoors and doing all the stuff that we're doing. So who knows? Unpredictability is the vibe. Isn't it, Joe? Isn't it? Gonna chuck in a bonus style, big surprise if you've seen these videos before, by me, Struthless. Given that Joe has been a bit of a relief from all the chaos, I'm gonna combine him with another trend that's a relief from all the chaos, meditation. I'll scrunch up his face, nice wrinkles, cartoonish hair, have him sitting all namaste-like, colour him in all blotchy. And that's a nice place to end on, a visual representation of me trying to apply all the breathing techniques that my therapist taught me in order to get through isolation. But, as you can see by this grumpy little face here, my therapist is a liar.